Let's go ahead and take a look at the thought that, if it makes you happy, then it really can't be that wrong. And relativism, which has nothing to do with bad relatives, by the way, although we've probably all had some of those. Uh, Relativism just says there are no absolutes, there is no right or wrong. It's really each one of us and our responsibility to figure out truth for one another. And, don't judge me, I won't judge you. Really, that goes in the face of pretty much the universe in which we live because we see that there are absolutes that govern the universe. For example, gravity. That is an absolute. If you go, you know what? I don't really believe in that whole gravity thing. It feels a little constricting. It's a little narrow minded. You seem a little judgmental trying to put that whole gravity thing on me. And you're at the top of the Empire State Building. You have a walkie talkie. I'm down at the bottom and I have a walkie talkie. And I go, hey, man, don't jump. And you go, hey, don't judge me. I'm not into this whole gravity thing. I'm a free person. And you go, jump off and you're free falling. Why? Because there's a thing called gravity. And I radio and I go, hey, how's it going? And you go, hey, so far, so good. And I check in another second or so later. Hey, how's it going? So far, so good. And then I'm going to call in again. How's it going? And there's going to be silence. Why? Because gravity kicked in. Whether you believe in the absolute of gravity or not does not change the reality that it exists. There are absolute truths that God has established that should govern our life that we find throughout the Bible. And whether we believe in it or not doesn't change the reality of that truth. Now, if we don't believe in it and it's true, it will change our reality because there are many times we're hurt and we're suffering because we ignored an absolute truth that God has established. A lot of people will go, well, yeah, but I'm sincere. Now, I could drink a glass of water thinking it's a glass of water, and I'm sincere in how I drink that water. But let's say it was full of sulfuric acid. You know what? I'm going to be sincerely dead. My sincerity did not change the fact that it was sulfuric acid. What you and I believe, whether it's sincere or not, does not change reality and it does not change the truth of what God has established. What's interesting is people who say they don't want absolutes or there are no absolutes. Really, they do want absolutes. They just want the absolutes they want. See, when you go to a pharmacist and you have a prescription filled, do you want them to live by the philosophy of relativism? There are no absolutes. There are no standards by which I should really measure the amount of this prescription. I'm going to do what just feels good to me. Is that how you want your pharmacist to fill your prescription? No, you don't. Why? Because you're going to get hurt. You could die. In fact, there are about 1.5 million injuries a year because prescriptions are misfilled. You want your pharmacist to live by absolute truths. You want people on the road when they're driving. You want them to live by the absolutes that a red light is a red light. That means stop. What if everybody just goes, you know what? Hey, that's red might be red to you, but I believe, red means go and green means stop. The world would be chaos if we did not have absolutes. And the reason so many people's lives are in chaos, relationships are in chaos, their finances are in chaos, their kids are in chaos, is because they're not living by the absolute standards of what God has defined as right and wrong. Proverbs 14:12 says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but the end is death. God put commandments in his word. He put truths to govern our life, not to restrict our life, but to empower our life, to actually bring freedom inside of our life. When you look at a paved road, you don't look at that paved road and go, well, that's really constricting. That's really limiting me. No, you look at it and go, hey, great. What's the speed limit? Because I need to break it by about 5 miles an hour, if you're like me. You go, this is awesome. I can go places faster and further because I have a paved road that has some boundaries. God's word is like a paved road. You can go further, you can go farther, and you can go faster. And it does have boundaries, but it's for your benefit and for your protection.